Congratulations, you've got the promotion. After all the hard work, the applications, the interviews and the preparation, you're finally a manager. But now comes the challenge. Many new managers feel pressure to prove themselves immediately. They think they need to arrive with all the answers, fix every problem and show everyone why they deserve the role. In my experience, that's often where things start to go wrong. Today, I want to share what I believe new managers should focus on during their first 90 days, based on a journey I experienced myself when I stepped into my first recognised management position as a trainee manager. And if you're wondering what that journey taught me, it comes down to three things: learn, build trust, and then improve. So let's get started. The first 30 days should be about learning. Learn about the operation, learn about the people involved, and learn about the culture. And perhaps most importantly, understand why things are done the way they are. The temptation when you become a manager is to start changing things straight away. But you can't improve what you don't yet understand. When I became a trainee manager, I had already worked my way up within the same site. I knew the business, I knew many of the people, and I understood the operation. Or at least I thought I did. One area I hadn't spent much time working in before my promotion was hospitality. Now naturally there was a bit of apprehension from that team. They didn't really know what impact I would have on their operation, and if I'm honest, I didn't fully understand their world either. So, rather than arriving with a list of changes, I made a point of spending time working alongside them. I wanted to understand how they operated, how events were delivered, how food was prepared and presented, what challenges they faced in their operation, and what they were proud of. What started as observation quickly became conversation. And in those conversations, we started building relationships. The team realised I wasn't there to replace their expertise. I wasn't there to make their life difficult. I was there to support them and bring a fresh perspective where it could help. That foundation would prove incredibly valuable later. Now, if you're still trying to gain experience before you've even secured a management role, I've created another video on exactly that topic, which you can see in the link on the screen. By the second month, the focus shifts. You're no longer the brand new manager. People know who you are. Now it's about building trust. Because leadership isn't granted by a job title. Leadership is earned through your actions. It's earned through consistency, through keeping your word, following through on your commitments, listening to people, and supporting them when they need it. For me, the relationships I'd started building in those first few weeks began to deepen, not just with the hospitality team, but across the wider operation. The conversations became more open. People started sharing ideas. They started discussing the challenges that they had, and they became more willing to talk about opportunities. I spent time with the individuals and the teams, discussing where they wanted to develop and what they wanted to achieve, and also what improvements they thought we could make together. And that's an important word, together. Because the goal isn't to impose your ideas. The goal is to create an environment where good ideas can come from anyone. Trust is what unlocks those conversations. And if you're interested in some of the mistakes that can damage trust early in your management career, I've covered that in another video that you can see on the link on the screen. So we're 2 months in. What now? Once you've spent time learning and building trust, you're finally in a position to start improving things. Notice, I didn't say changing everything. I said improving things. There's a big difference. One of the first significant projects I became involved in during that period was helping to refresh our hospitality brochure and offering. Now, if I'd rushed into that project on day one, I probably would have made a lot of assumptions. But because I'd spent time learning the operation and building relationships, I was able to approach it differently. Rather than presenting a finished solution, I sat down with the hospitality team. We reviewed feedback, we discussed what was working, and we explored opportunities. And we generated ideas together. Because trust had already been established, people felt comfortable contributing. The result wasn't my brochure, it became our brochure. And that's important, because when people help create something, they become invested in its success. The team took pride in the final offering because they had helped shape it. And that pride showed in the way it was being delivered every day. If there's one mistake I see repeatedly, it's this. New managers try to become the hero. They feel pressure to justify their promotion. So they try to solve every problem, fix every issue, and have all the answers. The reality is, your team doesn't need a hero. They need someone who listens, someone who supports, and someone who creates clarity. And ultimately, someone who helps them succeed. Ironically, trying to be the hero is one of the reasons many high-performing employees struggle when they first move into management. In fact, I've actually covered that in another video, which you can see on the link on your screen. So if you're stepping into a management role and wondering what your first 90 days should look like, keep it simple. From days 1 to 30, learn. From days 31 to 60, build trust. And from days 61 to 90, improve. Do those 3 things well, and you'll give yourself a strong foundation for long-term success as a leader. I hope you found this video interesting and useful, and if you'd like to know more about leadership and career progression, please feel free to subscribe to the channel. But for now, I'll see you again in the next video. Take care.